Very good morning to each and everyone. On behalf of the Department of Computer Application, under the aegis of the Human Resource Development Center, Integral University, Lucknow, I, Dr. Nadia Parveen, Assistant Professor, extend a warm welcome to all participants to the 2 week Blended Faculty Development Program on transformative learning through interdisciplinary artificial intelligence and machine learning applications in emerging domains, being held from 8 to 21st January 2026. It is our privilege to have with us Dr. M. Varaprasad Rao, Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Dr. Rao holds a doctorate in Computer Science and Engineering and brings over 22 years of teaching experience along with 8 years of research experience. He has served at several reputed institutions and has extensive industry, having trained professionals from Tata Consultancy Services and Wipro such as Amazon Web Services, Python and Data Science. He has published 32 papers in international journals, 14 conference papers, authored 10 book chapters, and holds 2 granted patents with 5 Indian patents filed. His research interest includes natural language processing, data mining, machine learning, cloud computing, and big data analytics. With his rich academic and industry expertise, we are confident that today's session will be highly insightful. I now invite Dr. M. Varaprasad Rao to kindly begin the session.
Very good morning. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So thank you, madam, for introducing me for 2 weeks FDP program.
Thank you, sir.
In the today's session, I just wanted to cover for what is the importance of NLP in the current era and what are the different changes which have come here for what we are using for the today's era. So thereby how the transformation is happened. Then what can be the criteria here to make use for further learning in the field of NLP. Thereby, where we are able to cover for few topics, possibly for the next 1.5 hours of session. So thanks once again for the giving me the opportunity by the Integral University of Lucknow. I just stop my video here because of because of the internet bandwidth, wherein we can have it a very good exemplary for working out of with the audio system. Uh, can you please just confirm that to see my presentation?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's now visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Just a minute. I'm just presenting my screen. Yeah. I thank the organizers here once again for providing me the opportunity to discuss on the FDP on transformative learning through interdisciplinary AI and ML applications in emerging domains. So for which where I cover for the basic ideology on NLP and AI business development. I hope I'm able to share my screen so everybody is able to see my presentation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So if any doubts are there, so please make sure that you interrupt and then ask the doubts. Uh, Today where I'm covering for these are the topics here, how the objective of this particular today's FDP is working. I just wanted to cover for the basic principles of AI, machine learning, and NLP as core concepts. Then we talk about what are the different areas wherein we can cover for the interdisciplinary applications in the field of academic. Of course, you know some of them, and I'll give you a few of them. So, what kind of the business use cases wherein we can do with the current scenario when you use with NLP? Then, what is the importance of this NLP in the current scenario? Possibly, I'll show you with a few examples if time permits. Otherwise, we may discuss with in general with what kind of the programming skills and how your research is going to be covered for this. Uh, the plan where I'm going to be covering for the today's FDP is basics of AI and ML. Then what are the different foundations of language? Then what kind of the things wherein we can understand the basic usage of NLP. Then we talk about different use cases and strategies. So the number of case studies which are implemented in cross domain. Uh, as you know very well in the current scenario of AI, how AI is being brought uh, in the year 2020 later. So most of us are being suffered with, or I mean to say that unhappy with the artificial intelligence in the previous trends. So when it comes to the development of the technicality or technically, so the AI has been very easy to understand. Of course, whatever the human brain is being doing, so that has been made by the system in an easiest way by the system. So in the era of started with the basic statistical learning, when we used to cover for analysis of any particular data. So we have been used with different methods like Z test, T test, F test, and so on, even including ANOVA and so. Based on that, we are going to be getting some kind of the inference. And that inference is being concluded with basic data analysis. Whether that can be used or not being used, or maybe used for further. So that way, it has been built with the statistical modeling or the statistical techniques. So later on, these statistical techniques, if the data is being enlarged or in the big volume, or I mean to say that in massive data, so that these statistical techniques were not being in a position to handle that particular ideology of the data. I mean to say, which are not capable to handle the large volume of the data. So in that regard, they started working on improving of these algorithms, which comes under machine learning. So thereby, the data size has been grown rapidly. Then how do you handle this for finding out of the data analysis, especially when it is talking with respect to the case of language based, because the numerical data can have with or can happen with many number, but when it is coming to the language based, let's say in English, we have many number of articles. Then those articles can be brought here when it is being retrieved. But which of these articles are relevant in the searching of the web? So it is a very big task. In that particular scenario, where AI comes into the picture to make use to retrieve the data relevant. So thereby, the machine learning is a concept wherein it helps us to get to retrieve the search space can be minimized in time. So the complexity of the increasing in referring of these documents, in retrieving of the documents. So thereby your role is more important in analyzing of that particular data. For example, if you use with like if you type any phrase in the user space or the search bar, so that it is referred to the web, then the document is to be taken out in less than 1 second of the time. So probably the number of pages which are providing the number of links and which can be taken back to the user, and probably it may be given in 0.39 or 36 seconds. So how these things can happen here when the large amount of the data is being residing in the web? So thereby, the artificial intelligence or AI is a prominent role which is being taken out to perform all day-to-day activities, like as a human is being doing, with the same kind of the intelligence which is being taken out by the artificial intelligence. So what can be taken here? This AI is going to be recognizing based on the number of search patterns, and that will help you to solve a problem, or you may take a decision here. As I just now told you, that if you do with any kind of the numerical analysis, like for example census is a data, and if you do some kind of the analysis based on the statistical techniques, it may take longer time as if it is being done by the human. So if the same thing can be given to the system, and the system can work out within hours of time, so thereby your help, or there is a need of some system intelligence which may takes to take a decision, and in fact that inference is being taken out to make a decision by the user or user point of the time. So the basic definition of AI can be there in many number of places, in many number of things by the many number of researchers which has been commented. But ultimately, when intelligence is applied, we are being ready to take a decision, and that decision will help us to solve a particular problem. So there are the kinds of varieties wherein we can see for everyday examples. So in that particular case, how to predict the weather, and you might have seen at your mobile there is a widget called weather widget, right? So in that weather widget, how it is going to be frequently updated, on what basis where it is being updated, at what time where it is being updated. So if you visit to a particular website, so how your website is being enabled to make use of this? So thereby, how do we handle that particular data? Can you just please hold for a few seconds? Sir, sir, sir,
Yes, sir.
any like sir?
Yes, sir.
అవునా నేను ఇక్కడ కాదు సార్ ఇక్కడ నేను గెస్ట్ లెక్చర్లో ఉన్నా అందుకని సార్ కానివ్వండి సార్ కానివ్వండి రైట్ సార్ రైట్. Yeah, thank you for being waited. So if you use here with any particular website, and that website is being enabled with the chatbots for solving of the number of queries based on the customer information. And even if you go with that website, let for example Amazon or Flipkart or something, so that if you go with the year-ending sales, so generally in that particular year-ending sale, you'll be able to see with the kind of recommendation system that if you buy this TV, so along with this TV, somebody who is being offered, or this many number of people who are also being buyed or bought this speaker system or boss system, or I mean to say a kind of audio system which has been purchased along with this TV. So that kind of the recommendation systems which are being provided by your AI example. So based on the user interpret or interest, where the system itself is assuming that these are the things which can be help out to make use to buy that particular user. for more number of sales can be happen. So thereby the AI bots, or I mean to say that AI systems which are also thinking that what is a user which is required and what kind of the prominent roles which he has been searched out so far. So based on that, where a package which is bundled with that and a recommendation system which is helping out to provide that this is being where you looked out and this has been provided by the system. So that kind of the pop-up which has been generated by the system now. So thereby your artificial intelligence will play a vital role in taking of a better decision whether to be purchased or not to be purchased from that particular website. So we have two different kinds of AIs. One is weak AI and second is a strong AI. Weak AI can also be called as a narrow and a strong AI can also be called as a general. So the weak AI, which we specifically talking about only the recommendation system on different cases like recommendation engines, virtual assistants, just now what I told you with that example, which is covered for the narrow AI. But in the case of a strong AI, the human level, how a human is being thinking out. For example, if a particular person who is going to buy a car from a given company, from a given brand, so how a human is going to think, and if the person is going to be exchanging of the car with the company who wanted to buy a new car in the exchange mela, so how it is going to be happen, how a human is going to be thinking. That means there are the cases where you are making use to cover for the hypothetical systems or hypothetical testing. So we are using in that particular level, so that where we think over whether can be a beneficiable by exchanging of our old car to buy a new car, or instead of to buy a new car by taking certainly some loan. So likewise, we check out with all the possibilities and then we will come to a conclusion. So that means it will take some time to measure here in a using of a new car to be buy or the old car to be exchanged with the new car. So to take this particular decision, it will take at least 1 to 2 days of time. So thereby a general AI can also help us in making use to get some kind of the information for taking a better decision. So how it is going to be majorly impacted on the next scenario when you use to cover for the cases where you are making use to uh, talk about the remaining number of paradigms. The paradigm has been shifted from the statistical learning to the machine learning paradigm, in which where we are making use to understand about how the data and what could be the data size, and based on that particular data, how to improve the performance, and by not to consider with the explicit environment. So thereby, there are three types of the paradigms which we use here in machine learning. And these three fundamental paradigms like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So these three paradigms which are majorly took an advantage in the industry when we used to talk about machine learning approaches or machine learning algorithms or machine learning projects. So the basic advantage of supervised learning, we can able to talk about only the labeled data, because when we talk about the labeled data and it is going to learn your system, and based on that it is going to be predicting certainly some kind of the output. If you use with certainly some examples like the essentials for customer segmentation in the sales website, that whether Amazon or Flipkart, Myntra, and so on, and in that particular case where the customers are being categorized into based on the interest. So by that where he can take a decision here that, so this customer, if he enters into see that particular website, then what can be preferred here to buy that particular day. So that's how where your agile computation is coming into that particular scenario. So likewise, we have different examples of that, and then that may be covered here by the supervised learning. In the case of unsupervised learning, wherein we are able to take the data, though the data is going to be not being given by any label here, and by that where we wanted to find out the hidden patterns which are there in that particular DAO. So in that case where you can talk about most of the basic example like market basket analysis. If I buy these many number of items for this, and when I visit to the next time to the same site, it comes with certainly some kind of the recommendation system. Or you may be using here with certainly anomaly detection or a fake news detection or any fraud is being happen. So how do you prevent that particular fraud? So the kind of examples as we can see from the unsupervised learning. Then the other category of the machine learning paradigm is reinforcement learn. The reinforcement learning, the learning is going to be through some error based learning or trial and error based learning. So if you have identified any error from which where the algorithm is going to be learn and it is going to correct that particular path and then makes execution for better optimization value to take a decision. So thereby it drives the dynamic pricing strategies or supply chain management optimization or personalized marketing campaigns which can give you in the form of reinforcement learning. Then when you see here with the other category of the provenance here and which is called as a deep learning found. In the deep learning, majority of the concern which we can talk about neural network concepts which come here. In the case of this deep learning, uh, this is a support of your machine learning. In fact, where we talk about a surface learning, and this surface learning is being taken out with the artificial neural networks, and which has been inspired here with biological neuron structure and how a brain is functions. And according to that, this deep learning architectures have been built, and we know that only the two concepts or two components of this deep learning. One is input layer and second is output layer. That means how the data is given as an input, and we don't know about what process it is happening in the hidden layer. Then we are expecting with the output layer. So this output layer is going to be taken out with the final prediction, or we say that some classification. So generally in the hidden layer, we talk about activation functions, back propagations, and some kind of the data which you may use for the generalization and so on. So a complex task which can be computed by the deep learning. In most of the situations, this deep learning application can work for the image processing or computer vision, or we may use for certainly some kind of the video or audio, but not for the text generally. So any doubts regarding so far? Do you find any doubts, or do you have any doubts? Let me know so that I can go ahead for further.
Sir,
Any
the question answer session is at the last,
anyone?
so we can take the questions
Shall I
at the
first?
end of the session.
Okay, if you have any questions, you can just make use to provide in the chat window or something so that we can take it up this session, end of the session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Right, thank you. Coming back to the hierarchy of this NLP, AI, ML, DL, NLP. The AI is a broad category in which where it is just providing the intelligence system, or you can build the intelligence system by using up certainly some kind of the machine learning algorithms or model, and which focuses only on the data, and the deep learning models where it bakes basically on the data along with some kind of the architectures which is applicable to the brain neuron structure, which we can call it as a neural networks. Then in the neural networks we have with artificial neural networks and then convolutional neural networks. Most of the times we use convolutional neural networks in using of this deep learning algorithms. Then you may also go for the next subsequent subset of this hierarchy is NLP. So all deep learning applications for any particular language understanding, we apply here with deep learning algorithms. So most of the situations where any particular application which comes under only in the first category, in the level 1, the level 4 is a broad category, and we are coming down in the narrow AI. The narrow AI is also called as a weak AI, and weak AI is coming to only particular domain. So though you have with the 2, 3, 4 subdomains of this AI, ML, and DL, but on the above of this, where your domain is going to be taken, either by biotechnical or biomedical or medical, images, audio, security, or any Gen AI applications which comes under in only the first label. Then moving forward with the concentration of your NLP, language is basically a data in the respect to the computer. We don't require here to understand about much more detail about any particular language. It's simply a data. So I may speak or I may not speak. I may write or I may not write. I may listen to understand. I may not listen to understand. But the basic language is a data. So which has certainly some kind of the grammar rules, and according to that grammar rules, so whatever the syllables of that particular language is being formed a sentence, and then we are able to speak. That means speaking can happen with only by knowing of those syllables, how to pronounce with those syllables, and according to that it is a data. So with respect to computer, any language where if you talk or speak or write, so that simply as a data. So what this NLP will do, so whatever we do communication as a human, then the human is going to be communicated with the system. In simple, the way where how a human is going to communicate, so that way where your intelligent system will think, and then he wanted to speak or he wanted to write or he wanted to just deliver certainly something. So based upon this NLP, you are making use to construct with language analysis, or we may say that how it is being transforming from a language what you speak in natively, and how it is being transferred to the speaking with the others in internationally or recognized by most of the people. For example, if I speak the same FDP lecture in English, so everybody can understand. If I speak in our native language like Telugu, Hindi, English, so few people may understand and few people may not understand. So in that particular case where I require here to understand to the other people, but if there is no chance, so therefore I'm speaking in my native language, and then somebody else to be required here to translate into the other side of the understandable language. So therefore, how do we analyze here that whether the transferred message is correct or not, or translated messages are correct or not? Because my native language, when you convert into the other language, maybe some kind of the errors occurred. So that error is to be minimized here. So therefore, the kind of analysis what you made here on the human communication, that is called as a computational analysis. So the computational analysis, which is performed on natural language, that means whatever the number of languages which are existing in the world, so which are called a natural language. So how do you process here that? Because the structure of your language is not being same in language to language, is going to be different. So thereby, how this unstructured text you are going to taken out, and how it is going to be convert this data into the actionable intelligence. I mean actionable words for providing you the as intelligence. So therefore, this is a big challenge here in transforming of your understandable language to the ununderstandable language of the others is a big challenge. It is not only that, but also the native language of mine, the native language of your own is different, as I just now told you. So both will come into the different grammatical structure. That means a subject plus verb plus object when we speak about a grammar in English. So that is going to be the different to the other respective languages. So how do you match this? In sometimes we may use with certainly some languages in South India. Well, we don't have any kind of the written grammatical rules, and they speak. They don't have even right, and for that the kind of languages which are there, then how do you handle that kind of the situation here? So therefore, we require certainly some kind of the intelligence. So this is a challenge here, and even this challenge is lying in teaching when you are machines to understand the context, when it is understanding about what kind of the nouns which are represented and what kind of the hallucinousness which is represented, then how do you understand with that hallucinousness then the cultural diversity of the different languages. So there is a big challenge here to handle this NLP. And over a period of time, now we are able to see with GPTs like ChatGPT, Copilot, and so on. So many have come here to solve your problems in day to day, where the languages have been pre-trained. These GPTs have been pre-trained, and according to your own language, wherein the language can be generated, or a script can be generated, or a voice can be generated, or any video can be generated. Like whatever you ask, whatever you prompt, so that gives you a big thing, and thereby where it is ready to generate whatever you are asking a query. So thereby, how do you handle these kind of the situations in the natural language processing is a big deal here. As a computer science scientist, or a computer science researcher, or a computer science student, or a computer science faculty, or a professor, whoever it may be, that because the certain challenge which you do in day-to-day operations, which involves about most of the things which do through only the communication. The local communication is more important. So therefore, we have come here with the three different things. One is ambiguity challenge, that what I do here with spelling out with one particular word, maybe having with a different meaning in a different language. I mean to say that language diversity. So this language diversity is to be there, and then that is going to be eliminated here to minimize that particular error. So in the given example, I'm using a word called bank. So the bank can be used here with financially generally. But if I do at one particular river place, so that can be also called as a river bank, reserve bank, and river bank. So both are going to be called as a bank. But how do you make to understand? So the understanding is going to be like if I stay at financial institutions like a bank, so I need to understand as this is a bank. If I'm there at riverside, so I need to understand that I am at a riverside, or I'm at a river bank. So according to that, the ambiguity is to be avoided here. But it is not going to be the case where your system can understand, right? So there is a big challenge here, that how to eliminate this ambiguity. Then other kind of the ambiguity, which is to be eliminated here with to understand more sophisticated algorithms. So how to provide these sophisticated algorithms? So on what basis where we provide with these sophisticated algorithms to remove this ambiguity? So we have to work out even today also, but still it is going on to provide for more number of cases. Then contextual understanding here, the sarcasm, for example, we may talk more in easiest way in our native language, like what kind of the sarcasm, so what context you are speaking, and according to that where we need to provide the awareness here. So whether are you providing a sarcasm statement, or are you talking in general case? So the system cannot understand properly as like a human being. Then because of this, over many number of languages which are there in the world, who can speak or who can write or who can read. So in that particular case, do we have any unique grammar rules and regulations? So for writing or for reading, or I mean to say for speaking. So with the over 7,000 languages, we may have their own way to write, their own way to speak, their own way to read. So in that case, where we may not get one unique rule to provide this structure. So the NLP is going to be most of the times in business areas. We talk about sentiment analysis in recommending of recommendation system, or by giving of any particular intelligence system, and which transforms how in you are in current state, then how to make the enhancing of your current state to the next stage, or how to engage with the number of people who are there at your place. So likewise, where we may even having with the further impact here when you improve this natural language speaking skills or processing skills, or you may talk about natural language understanding or natural language engineering. Like we have called with many number of terms which are being coined even nowadays. So NLP is the old word, and NLU and NLG, then NLE. So NLU is understanding, natural language understanding. NLG is natural language generation. NLE is engineering. So these are the steps wherein you can see with the different words which are being coined in very recent past days. So NLP is a general case of the processing, and if the data is available, then how do you process by your system, and then the system can understand. NLU is it is not only for processing but also understanding and then generating here. So you are able to give certainly some data, and that system must understand like a human. That is called NLU. Then NLG is after understanding of this system, that what the document is being given, or what words are being given, or what text is being given, or if an image is given, then he has to understand and like a human, and then he has to reproduce. If I ask you if I just upload a particular image and let you describe here, if I ask you that, it has to generate here some description. So that description, if you ask the system to be generated with 50 words or 100 words or 150 words likewise, where it has to generate here with the NLG, natural language generation. Then NLE is natural language engineering, is a process with NLP, NLU and NLG. So he has to understand the system by taking the data, and he has to even ready to generate. And even based on this particular existing data, he has to generate a new data. So that new data is called engineering. So in engineering, we are not only taking out the old data, but also you are ready to augmenting of that particular data. So when you augment the existing data, you may even scale up to whatever the level which you wanted to do. So that kind of the variety wherein you can see from the different variations of the NLP here. So of which where we talk about one is NLP pipeline. So the basic ideology of how you process the data in NLP, natural language processing. In natural language processing implementation, which follows a systematic workflow. I say that it's a systematic because every process will have its own way to solve a particular problem in respective language. So it has a systematic workflow. What do we do with that systematic workflow? So we take certainly some kind of the data, and that we wanted to convert into a meaningful answer. So for example, if the pipeline is consisting with certainly uh, certainly 3 to 4 steps as actually, so the data is collected and then cleaned. Then we perform with the NLP process here with how the data is cleaned. After getting up that data is cleaned, then you transform that into tokenization. Then from which where we select the features, and you can apply the model, or you can build the model, and then you can just produce the output. So the basic things wherein I've shown you in the figure, as there are 6 steps, but generally we consider with the 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, because the text collection is there that you are submitting as an input. The dataset is submitted as an input. Then you are going to clean by using of certainly some models or some methods or some approaches. Then tokenization is going to be the process where after getting the cleaned text by eliminating of the required transactions, then you are making use to construct that into that into a single word. All the sentences are going to be splitted into the words, and unique words are to be taken out into that. So that process is called a tokenization. Then in feature extraction, the converted text from the tokenization is going to be converted into a numerical record. That numerical representation is generally called as a column vector or simply vector. So what kind of the features which are there from a given data set that has been taken out, and then we'll be able to implement those and extract in the form of a features. Once we select the features, then you are going to take or select the model, and then whether it is going for classification or prediction or generation or whatever the algorithm which you can take it out, and you train it on the given features. Then you test that particular model whether it is going to working or not, or you can validate that particular model at what kind of the percentage of accuracy which is being taken out. So according to that, you are able to produce certainly some output. And at each particular stage, whatever I have mentioned here, and you are going to be taken care about the considering of the data, how to select the data with the different sources, with the different documents, and how to get to be converting of that text into the cleaned text by submitting to the cleaned phase. So by removing of noise or unwanted characters or any special characters or symbols which are there. Then after all that, whether the data is categorical and numerical, then how do you transform this categorical and numerical to one particular form of the data, either by unique all fields or categorical for all fields. So if not, then you transform that to standardization and normalization by encoding of label encoders, standard encoders, and so on. So many number of algorithms can be used. Once if you do, then we can go for tokenization. And the tokenization is nothing but whatever the text which is there, and that text is going to be converted into sentences, and sentences are in turn converted to the sub sentences and converted into the words. So single unique word is being identified, and which is called as a token, from which where we take it into consideration to convert that into the numerical vectors. And then you apply for any model or regression. So you have to take care about all three phases in this particular pipeline. Once we get tokenized, then the remaining things automatically done by your system. So based upon the model what you have been selected. Of course, this scaling is to be different from domain to domain. So in which domain where you are able to check, and according to that domain where we must be in a position to understand these steps. So of course, based upon the domain type where the efficiency of the your output is going to be different. So text to processing techniques, as I just now told you, that what is a tokenization, stopword removal. Then we have with the different things here, what we can do with processing of a text. So the processing of text, which is going to be taken out to your raw data, and it makes you to turn into the standardizing format for reducing the complexity. So what kind of complexities which are to be improving of your what I mean to say that model performance. So how it improves the model performance when you implement this text to processing. So the breaks the entire data into words, sentences, or characters by longer data, that is a raw text which is considered. Then you apply for the tokenization. Then there is one more method which you used here to remove any unnecessary information as your text contains, eliminating like common words, adding like adjectives, removing adjectives, and etc., which are happen here in the case of stop word removals. The eliminating of common words, that adds a little semantic value. Articles, prepositions, conjunctions are going to be reduced here, like all ing forms, prefixes, suffixes, and etc., which are taken out with the actual word, and that actual word is considered as it is. So by not using here, for example, in the case of stop word removal, filtering. So if I consider a word called filtering, the original word filter, the original word filter. So I'm adding ing form to that. So I'm continuing this particular process. It indicates only the process continuation, but the word is originally filter. So filter, filtered, filtering, or filters, whatever it is going to be considered from the original word or root word. That root word is going to be considered, and the remaining forms are going to be eliminated. So likewise, where we are generating one particular unique token here. Then there is another process in text which is called stemming or lemmatization. So stemming is going to be chopping the words which are taken from the root and the ing forms and etc. which are removed here. That is called stemming. You are just cutting down the extra points here. Then lemmatization is nothing but how exactly your word is going to be represented in the dictionary form. How exactly your word is going to be representing in the dictionary form. So whatever we use in general discussion, that is in contextual based, but how to do that in dictionary form. So for example, better to good. So choose based on the accuracy what you require here. So lemmatization is a general concept, but how it is going to be produced in the your domain concept. So domain concept is different to the generalizer concept. So as I said now, just the example with the bank, right? Through that bank, I can understand either you may be in the financial or you may be in the river, at the river. So moving forward here from this, the basic text processing techniques to advanced. So in the advanced case where we talk about word embeddings, or transformer models, or we may have with the sequence to sequence, and then we proceed with the most recent in past is attention mechanisms. In the word embeddings, we talk about different vectors which are generated here, different words which are taken into the column vectors, and all these vectors are being given to the similarity here, and that similarity based on semantic similarity. Semantic similarity is nothing but we find with the meaning, and then if the meaning of the two words are same, so therefore we put them into together, and then we are working out of that how many number of such words which are there. According to that, we wanted to build the relationship among those words. So which are nothing but contextual relationships which are established based on semantic similarity. And this is going to be used in most of the situations in day-to-day computational things. So one can be used in information retrieval, or one can be used in document indexing, one can be used in improving of the machine translation, and so on. Many number of things which you can work out on word embeddings. Then there is another model which uses here in the recent past, which is a transformer model. So which applies here with all GPTs. So pre-trained models which are being defined here by your transformer, and which helps us in maintaining of the longer sequences in the data, and which remains the same for generating of the new sentences. Like as I said just now, so it is going to be NLE, that means natural language engineering. It takes the old data, and then if you are asking to provide me new text of the data, then it is ready to provide you. So that kind of the gathering which can be happening from the transformer models. So the entire sequence significance is maintained of a statement or of a document, then executing in the contextual understanding. So in which way you have understood here, and that understand is being given in the form of generation of new text. Then another model which is called as a sequence to sequence. The architecture which is basically designed to take the input is in sequence, and output will also be in sequence. Because of that reason, it is being given a model named called sequence to sequence. So there is no question of any random number of sequences which are to be provided in a document. So the document is taken out as an input, and that process here based upon your model, and the input will also be provided in the same case in the sequence. The basic ideology of this is in the sequence to sequence model is we make use of if a particular document is in longer size, then I just wanted to know about what is the importance of this particular longer document of 10 pages or 20 pages. So if you can provide me in a paragraph so that I can read and understand, so that we can call it as a summary of the right entire document. So this we can call it as the text summarization. Then similarly, we can speak out some words, and then you are able to convert that the speaking of your words to the text. So which we can call it as a speech recognition system. And most of the times, all speech recognition systems which are automated here now. So you may be able to see in your mobile phone, if you touch with audio icon on your widget of a search bar, so that you hold it and then you speak, then automatically the text is generated. So almost in all the languages in India, what they provided by the Google search with the voice-based recognition systems are working about 96 to 99 percentage of the accuracy. So thereby, a sequence to sequence mechanism is happening in automatic speech recognition systems, which are brought into more number of performance-based techniques here. Then coming to the another kind of the approach which comes under in advanced NLP is attention-based mechanisms. What happens here in the sequence to sequence, it will take a lot of time to identify the number of uh, sequences here, what are all to be required here to understand. So in the case of that, it takes a longer time to provide a gist. So thereby your attention mechanism, which is going to be taken out only the relevant part of the input in the sequence. You're making the system to attention. So you make your attention to recognize these particular words in a sequence, and then you make the production. I mean to say, you understand and then improve the performance or making to take a decision here. That means you're focused only on the given sequence of words, and by that where my algorithm will work more on that, and then I may be able to improve the performance. Because in a sequence to sequence, I may not be in a position to understand about a non-significant value in that particular document. So because of that reason, where you are able to get the accuracy of your system in sequence to sequence is something lower than when you use with the attention mechanisms. So that's what the advantage here with the attention mechanisms. Moving forward here with the technical foundations, what are the different foundations as we have with the modern NLP? As you have seen, as I told you already, with generative AI has come here with LLMs in the current era. So there are more core areas to be focused in detailed. So the first one is architectures. As I told you that the architectures are transformed architecture, or BERT architectures, or GPT architectures, or attention mechanisms. So these are the basic architectures as we use with when we talk about the recent in past for the past 2 to 3 years onwards. So exploring the foundational concepts in self-attention mechanism, which uses about more number of multi-head attentions, and by which where the encoder decoder structure is going to be improved with the NLP model. So that is the basic ideology of the transformer architecture. Encoder and decoder will be there with single head attention or multi-head attention. There are the cases where you can use with the self-attention mechanisms. That means automatically it detects the attention or the focus of the different concepts which you wanted to learn. So that kind of the varieties wherein you can have with the transformer architectures. The BERT architecture is represented from the transformers basically. It's a bidirectional encoders. So we use here with only what I can say that encoder and decoder with only one case, but we are making use here to understand about a bidirectional encoder. So you have with the two-way transformation communication, which can understand here to make more in deeper to understand about the context, and then you can able to predict here that what can be the next sentence. Like if you are using with your Gmail application, where you can see with the bidirectional encoder. So it predicts that what could be the next statement while writing of your email. So you might have seen within current recent past. So the deep contextual understanding with your email, and according to that, it is also giving you that whether it is a prominent email or significant email or even not a represented email. So you're also being indicated that whether that email is to be responded as a reply or not responded as a reply. So such kind of the applications wherein you can do with the BERT representation. Then coming to the attention mechanism, this attention mechanism is going to be based on the query key value. Generally, key value is a pair that we use in hashing, and there is two values which are there in key value, that is hashing. But now the attention mechanism, a three paired value which has come here. One is query and second is key, and then third value is value. That means a small keyword which has been extracted from the query. What is a significant key value or the term, and from which where it is going to be mapped with the value. So with the actual value. So it plays a vital role or crucial role in positioning of your encoding process in the sequential data. So that's how where the query key value is going to happen in most of the situations when you use with the sequence to sequence transformers. And finally, we have with the GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. Uh, Basically, it is an auto-regressive language modeling here. This regression is happening here to predict certainly something. It is also being meted out with the varieties of the auto variations. In the auto-regressive language, if you provide certainly some prompt by giving you that prompt is like please generate in English with what is it today's FDP, what I need to learn or what I can understand here from this. So if you just give you and if you just upload here from that, then it gives you the overall summary of this with 5 to 10 bullets. That so this way I can able to predict what I can do or what I have been learned. So from this where I can learn very easily. So in generative pre-trained model, the number of documents which are there in the web has been happened to read all the documents, and then they are being a position to give prediction here. So this we can have with the architectures. So most of the situations now we are able to transform with only the transformer architectures and GPT architectures. Then the second scenario, which you can see here, that what kind of the hands-on toolkits, how do you make use to understand about these are the things, and from which place where we can do with our research work or our programs, or how can we explain with the students and etc. can happen with Hugging Face transformers. Because Hugging Face is a website, and then where we can see with a lot of their work of their individuals or their teamwork has been presented in the Hugging Face transformers. So those transformers are those links, whatever it is being provided by the Hugging Face website. It has been pre-trained by that particular the team of the people or an individual person who has been trained in the model, and then that has been posted. If you want, you can just clone it, and then you can make use to fine tune and customize itself for your own domain. Then you will be able to get the answer in immediate case. So no need to take with the proper hardware to run on your Hugging Face transformers like GPT and so you can just clone it and then work on your the general GPU, and then you can work it out for your application. So it reduces here with the cost and as well as for the effort for training of your the own data. So because it has been already trained on certainly some data, then you can be able to predict certainly by using of your own data. So that's how where the Hugging Face website is being help us in making use to correct ourselves by reducing the time. Not only that, but also cost for taking on rent or taking the hardware on rent. So it can be reduced like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform or Microsoft Azure. So these are the different cloud platforms which are providing you to provide for arranging them for most powerful GPUs or TPUs. So not only for graphical processing units, but also for teraflop units. So therefore, these are being provided by the different people. So based on your requirement, you can choose, and then you can work on these, and then you may be able to explore certainly some kind of. Then second type of the what I mean to say that helping us in providing with the text classification or making use to parsing of your data structures or grammatical structures, or if I wanted to know about some kind of the applications like named entity recognition or code mixed languages and etc. You can work on these spacey package here, and then this will help out you to understand about how to recognize the named, then what kind of the entities which are there in named entities, then what kind of the names which are being recognized here in that particular entities, and what are the impacts when you recognize this entity on recognizing of your document and so on. So the Spacey is a package which provides you to do some kind of the programming part. Then NLTK is the very old package which is available still in Python. So you may be using of these techniques for tokenizing parts of speech, tagging. Then you can generate with the sentiment analysis and etc. Apart from that, you can have with the real-time scenarios like including the sentiment analysis on products for any kind. Then for any of the other languages, if you wanted to make use of for named entity recognition, for automatic document indexings, then automatic speech recognitions and etc. will come under the number of examples which are there, and those can work it out on this particular Python programming. As I told you that the architecture is more important. Then along with what are the different tools which are available here to develop these models or understanding of the architectures to work off or to work on your problems. So this we have seen word to word vector or word to vector. It is being used a basic core NLP algorithm. The word to vector is an algorithm and which explores here with the n-gram based. N is nothing but a unigram or a bigram or trigram and so on. So which identifies the character or the word, and then how many number of words which are being identified as unique words after tokenizing, then that are going to be putting them in bag of words. Then we have a model here to recognize that what are the different words which are being kept under in a bag of words, and how do we get the significant or the frequency of that particular word. Then what kind of the meaning of these particular words, and we wanted to establish a relationship between the bag of words what we have with that particular bag. So what kind of the relationship which is being between the words, so that you can identify with the algorithm called word to vector. Then there is another algorithm called global vectors, so which we can call it as a GLOW. So this approach is basically based on global word to word co-occurrence, because we wanted to map with the unique format of the number of words what we use throughout the world. So understanding of the co-occurrence in statistical based, we just wanted to go through with the Euclidean distance or Euclidean similarity or Jacquard similarity or cosine similarity and etc. So which uses about to work for the robustness. Then another approach what we have is called contextual embedding here, and this contextual embedding will work for the different types of the architectures like I discussed with the bioencodal, right, transformers and so. So likewise where it works on dynamic representation based on the context. So you wanted to generate any kind of the information that is going to work on the base ideology or beneath the data, and from that where it generates dynamically. So such kind of the applications wherein you can through with these particular cases here. So you can work for similarity search, you can go for text clustering, then searching of certainly some words and retrieval of the data, then information extraction, information retrieval, understanding of the relevant data which is being retrieved or not. Then you can work for certainly some kind of the applications thereby. So I'm clear here. Do you have any doubts? Hello?
Dear participants, if you have any question, you will ask.
So if not, how much time I left over, madam?
Only 5 minutes.
Huh?
Only 5 minutes.
5 minutes there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I have just discussed about a transformer architecture in very in detail, but the figure is being provided here, and I've also discussed about BERT architecture, and which uses about the figure here, bidirectional representation. I told you the questioning and answering which comes here. Then GPT architecture with auto regressive generation. So this algorithm I have also discussed with the structure which I have provided here. And we have with the hands-on toolkits as a standard the libraries which are used at industry, Hugging Face, Spacey, and so on. Then we have done with word embeddings. And here I am just representing with my ideology of the generative AI with LLMs. So what kind of the generative AI and how it is going to be help us in making use to understand about this generative AI. So understanding of generative AI is working about your pre-training of the model. Once if you pre-train the model, then you can go for fine tuning of the model according to your situation based on your domain. Then the third step, you submit your prompt such that it will improve your performance based on the prompt or query. Then you can even for the using of sample. So by that where your generative AI structure can easily understood. So according to this generative AI, the core concepts of what we can understand here is the content creation is more important. Once the content is created through this generative AI by using of LLMs, then you can easily generate the code according to the like ChatGPT 4 or Copilot or whatever you use with Gemini. So all are working about generating of the codes. But I should have certainly some kind of the knowledge which has to be synthesized here to understand about the LLMs. So without having of the uh, basic ideology of the transformators, so I may not be provide here with the synthesis or understanding of the knowledge. So we have with different advantages and limitations here with generative AI with LLMs or generative AI and LLMs. So the key advantages is basically versatility and limitation is hallucination, as I told you that because one can be majorly used in generating of the one word in one particular context uh, or one particular domain. Maybe used the same word by the other system. So how to make use of the ambiguity here? So that is a basic disadvantage with LLMs or generative. So if your prompt is that accurate and your answer is that accurate, so the system must understand here that what is your question, what is your prompt in prompt engineering. So according to that, it's going to reduce the number of errors or error analysis is going to be reduced here. So false positives are going to be removed thereby. The advantage here you can use for LLMs is speed and efficiency. But at the same time, the limitation is bias. So I may even get some kind of the wrong things or wrong perceptions. You might have seen with using of this chat GPT or LLMs, all the data may not be correct. You please check before going to come or before going to present yourself. So that's how where it is going to give you in a last line. So therefore, bias should not be there on a given topic for when it is being trained or when it is being more effective. So you must have a sufficient data for training, and then you can ask some questions, and then you will be able to retrieve that particular data. The third one is accountability and accessibility. Accountability is being taken out advantage because if you go for the free versions and if you go for the paid versions of this or subscription version, so both can be accountable here because the data may be provided here as a background, and according to that only it is going to provide you. So whether it is a free user or subscription user, so both will get the same kind of the answer. But the usage of the subscription is more number of prompts than what it is being offered for the free user. So accessibility, anybody can use any particular thing. So most recent advanced versions may not be accessible for all the free people, may be given for few people, but not for all the people. At the testing level, they might have given at their own end, but not for all the people. So it must be a subscription manner. So whatever the old versions which are there and then that are now coming to free of cost. So the disadvantage in provision of this advantage is lack of real-time data or lack of real-time knowledge. So what I'm trying to give my human brain train is not going to recognize by the LLMs or GPTs. So because if it is a subscription, so therefore it is cost effectiveness and time taken very less to generate that. So computational cost is more because of the subscription fees or price. So with this, I'm just made to use to come to as an end with another a topic called agentic AI. So very recent in advance, wherein we are able to hear with the word called agentic AI. Agentic AI is nothing but is a special application which works for only one particular task. So thereby it is also called as autonomous intelligent system. Agentic AI, an agent is being created for you to work for your application, to work for your problem. So that works for only that. So what is this agentic AI? Agentic AI will work for a significant AI system for processing of your ability to, to enrich your environment work action. So what do we do with this agentic AI? Agentic AI will provide you agency and autonomy. So unlike your traditional systems where agentic AI are going to be designed in such a way, more user-friendly application, and it works for the independent action and to take the decision. So no need of any human intervention here to take any agentic AI action. So it works for only the goal-oriented behavior. So whatever you give the algorithm or steps, according to that only it works for that. So you don't take any kind of the extra activity, though it may take its own decision, but it is to be within the boundary. So that's how where we are going to generate with this. Provided if you go with any kind of the agentic AI in the World War or in the situation which was happened, so it may not be allowed here for these kind of the systems here because it may take for wrong decision. So we may lose most of the situations in that. So in that case where somebody is to be controlled this. So in that way where agentic AI is going to work here. Then the perception, reasoning, then planning is to be done accordingly. Then execution, then learning is to be done accordingly. So there are the cases where you can see with the types of the agent. There are reactive agents, then deliberative agents, then multi-agent systems as we have, then hybrid agents as we have, then you may take your own way to have with the agentic AI, and by that whether can be designed for your own way, or you may be talking with different others, and which can be used here to plan only the algorithmic execution, or for only reasoned based, or only for working out of with different actions are to be collected, or different survey forms are to be taken out. Any collaborative work is going to be there. So such kind of things can be considered here for choosing of your own agentic AI modeling here, or designing here, or we can design that particular agentic AI. The agentic AI with LLMs are going to work for reasoning engine and the tools, apps, APIs, then how many number of memories which are to be used. So it's a like a human-like agent behavioral to be provided. So what kind of action to be taken? How do we use to give the reasoning, the communication capabilities? So how much power we can give to understand the different situations, different reasons by different people, etc. thing can be given here as the controls. So we have with applications and challenges. Many number of applications which you can see in the real-time scenario, which works most of the times in education, healthcare, financial managements, business automations, and so on. Then we have even the number of challenges which are there to be considered for the designing of this agentic AI is alignment. So it has to be aligned with human values, majority of the sign. Then safety is a major case concern to be the challenge here for designing of the agentic AI. How much transparency where your agentic AI is going to give the answers here. So can it be believed or not is a big question here. So far where we have with the manageable scalability, that the application can be given for one agentic AI is for one. But if you have the similar type of the applications, can it be handled with only one agent, one agentic AI or not? So that can be seen here in the collaborating of the agentic AI environments. Then there is a one important aspect here to be considered. So are they providing or are they taking care about ethical implications, like addressing the questions on accountability, responsibility, or any kind of the social impact? So which has to be taken into the consideration when you use with this agentic AI designing, or maybe placing in stuff that. So NLP is enhanced with the generative AI in the traditional versus generative. So there are the cases where you can use with prompt engineering in NLP. So I have to give the very prompt. I mean, prompts are to be submitted accurately so that you can retrieve the data as if. So we have different mechanisms in understanding of this response quality in prompt engineering with NLP. One is zero shot learning, few shot learning, chain of thought, then prompt templates, then fine tuning versus prompting, and etc. We have different models here to understand more in detailed part. So the next one is RAG, which is very I mean very important model to understand here in the RAG based learning in NLP in the current scenario. So how it is generated with your LLM here. On what basis where the data is generated is a basic RAG system here. I have provided here what is the mechanism, what are the benefits, and where can we apply here. So what are the basic search mechanisms, then how do you understand with the conceptual and contextual understanding, what kind of the databases where it can search, then how it is being stored, and what kind of the knowledge where it is required to specifically retrieve the data on domain specifically. So likewise, where we have with many number of cases wherein you can work for the RAG-based systems. So number of applications when you use with like Gen AI and agentic AI in action, one can be used in extreme automations, customer experience, then context and knowledge management, and etc. So you can work for the future directions with multimodal or reasoning planning or safety alignment, efficient sustainability, personal adoption, or emerging in research area. So with this, I'm done from my side. And if you have any questions so that I can answer. So I thank once again for the organizers for giving me this opportunity to address you people.
Thank you, Dr. M. Varaprasad Rao, for delivering an insightful session. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Yep.
Hello. Any questions I can take from the
Sir,
participant?
wait a minute. Let me unmute the participants so they can ask the questions if have any.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Participants, your mic is now accessible. So if any participant has any question regarding the session, he or she can ask to our resource person. I think, sir, we don't have any questions right now from the participants.
Okay.
So thank you for your presence, for your information that you have shared with us.
Yeah.
And okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Right. Right.